Hi, D. Bethel here, the creator, writer, and artist of the Western webcomic Long John, which you can find at longjohncomic.com. Here with another video of me drawing something. This is a drawing of a character called Vorpal from the series called Vorpal by a friend of mine, Jason Tudor, that you can find on places like Comixology and Indie Planet. He's got 3 issues out right now, and it's basically a story about this character, Vorpal, a high-level assassin who has no memories aside from her being a professional assassin. And early on in the first issue, a job goes wrong. Everything for her kind of falls apart, and it's a story about that chase, about her sort of getting flashes of memories and figuring out who to trust, what to do, and how to get a hold of her life once more. She has as a constant companion a floating robot orb called Argo, who's sort of wisecracking and sarcastic. And it's kind of a pulpy adventure with very sort of interesting and dark political undertones to it. That is a lot of fun to read. With this low angle sort of shot of her face, I did what I did in what you saw in the Rogue video, where I was having problems mapping the features on the face, and so instead of just going in with lines and math, I blocked in the shadows, and I wouldn't have known that worked for me had I not been using Procreate. So I'm learning a lot about how I put images together by using this digital tool. I drew Vorpal a long time ago for the first time as an early Sketch Friday, a sort of running series I do on my website. And it always been meant to kind of go back and do a more finished piece of the character. And so with getting the iPad, I figured, why not do that now? And I always had the kind of idea of her on the job, or having just completed a job, and just showing a sort of professional comfort that you see with people that are really good at their jobs. And as you saw, there were sort of different poses I was kind of working with at the beginning, but generally this was the sort of, this posture was what I had in mind from the beginning. I kind of cheated a little bit on the gun. I know it's a sniper rifle, so I did a long rifle and tried to work in like cool sci-fi details, but I just don't have much of a history with that kind of imagery as a consumer, as an artist. So I just blacked it all in, and it works. You know what it is. Of course, science fiction is a very broad genre with a lot of subgenres within it. And I think the more hard sci-fi or technology-forward science fiction, like what Vorpal is, I don't really have a huge history with it, and so I don't know that language in terms of design. I think the closest I get is the Mass Effect series, with its sort of modular and compact and folding weapons that I thought was really cool. But for me, I think the most of the science fiction that I gravitated towards more was like post-apocalyptic science fiction than Mad Max, is the sort of how do we construct a new society out of the remnants of the old. I really had fun with the lighting here as well. Obviously she's standing or sitting on a building overlooking city streets, but I knew I wanted her to be kind of lit from underneath, and so I like that problem solving of like, well, what are the planes I'm working here? Where would light be shadowed, or what parts of her would be shadowed, what parts would be lit, and kind of tinkering with that throughout. Drawing the city background was probably where especially in this playback, the most, where I had the least amount of confidence. I wanted to give that sort of pseudo Blade Runner sci-fi kind of look to it by having buildings that are tall and slender and odd shapes and odd geometry. But again, I'm not the biggest consumer of sci-fi, but I had an idea. So instead of going in with specific or working out specific designs beforehand, I just blocked in shapes at different levels, knowing I could kind of sell it by adding atmospheric perspective. Although what I do initially here is do it wrong. I gave it atmospheric perspective during the daytime, then it should be at night. Basically, atmospheric perspective meaning is how do things look as you go further into the distance. When you look at like mountain ranges, the farther a mountain gets from the front of the mountain range, the lighter it gets because there's atmosphere blocking you and seeing it. But at nighttime, it kind of works the opposite, where the stuff in the back gets dark because the light that's hitting it near it is diffusing between you and it. But I hope you enjoyed the drawing, and I hope you check out Jason's comic. You can find my comic at longjohncomic.com or buy the new book at newlongjohnbook.com. I'm D. Bethel, and thank you for watching me draw.